last video was 10 minutes long and I couldn't send it to you, sad face. But anyway, I'm going to try to narrow this down to like 5 minutes. Really simple, easy process of mitosis. It happens every day in your life, every single day. Every time you got a cut and it heals, that's because of mitosis. Every time you nip yourself or you're bleeding or you have like surgery and your wound heals up open, it's because of mitosis. Mitosis is great. Don't blame it. Don't be mad at it. It's great. Okay, anyway. So the very first thing you want to remember, and that's crucial in this, is that you know what a chromosome is. Pretend this is a chromosome. Remember that chromosomes are just coiled up DNA. They're coiled and coiled and coiled. And here is something in a chromosome called a centromere. A centromere. Okay. So the centromeres I like to think of as centro for center because they're located in this middle part of the chromosome, and they basically hold the chromosome together. And remember that chromosome, oh my gosh, a chromosome is consisted of two sister chromatids. Okay, that's important. So this is something that you guys should know already. So here's a regular cell, you know, it's a regular cell, and it has a nucleus and it has a bunch of DNA inside. That's what a cell looks like when it's like not doing anything. But of course, cells are always busy. The first stage of mitosis is something called, you guys know this, it's called prophase. And prophase, what happens is, if this is your cell, the nucleus of that cell starts to disintegrate, and your DNA inside that nucleus starts to coil up until they become chromosomes, right? Remember these chromosomes. And one important factor that you should know in prophase is that you have this little thing here. They're sort of macaroni shaped like structures. These babies are called centrosomes. So they're macaroni shaped, like they're in charge of, I guess you can say, pulling apart the cell into two at the end. But I'll show you what that looks like in a bit. And there's a way to remember this. I'm going to show you guys in a bit. So after prophase, remember prophase is just having those chromosomes and those centrosomes move together and having the membrane disintegrate. So the second phase, you guys have something called prometaphase. Remember, prometaphase is just like the intro phase to metaphase. Prometaphase. So in this phase, what's happening is in your cell, all these chromosomes are going to like start to sort of get in line, not really. They're going to sort of get in line. And these centrosomes, these are really important. The macaroni shaped like structures, they started off together, but they're going to move to opposite poles of the cell. They're going to move like, it's going to move on the opposite poles. And you're going to see why in a bit. So after prometaphase, you have something called, you guys should know this, metaphase, or as I like to call it, the middle phase. So metaphase, what happens here is you have a cell, right? And right now, you know how all these chromosomes started like sort of coming together, but not really? Yeah, this is a phase where all your chromosomes start lining in the middle of the cell. And along with that, you remember how these centrosomes started sort of going towards the middle of the cell, but not really? They're going to be on complete opposite poles of the cell right now. Yeah, here's one centrosome and here's one centrosome. The way you can remember it's a centrosome is center, centro, center. It's going to be here, centro of the zone. So like this is the zone where it has to be in the center. Haha. So here's everything. Now what happens here is in metaphase, you have these bonds that link up to, get ready for this, the centromeres. What? Remember that the centromeres are the ones that like sort of hold the chromosomes together, but centrosomes and centromeres, don't get them mixed up. Just remember that they attach to the center. They attach to the center, right? So your centrosomes, which are these macaroni things, attach for your centromeres. This is important. Pretend these are all connected. Right, so in metaphase, you go down until you hit, anaphase. Now, anaphase is where the centrosomes pull apart these chromosomes so that they're sister chromatids. Now, you'll see what I mean by that. they sort of have a shape. You can see that the cell is not really a circle anymore. It's more like sort of bent. So here's what's happening. Here's your sister chromatid. Here's your sister chromatid. Chromatid. Then here's your centromeres. In the center of each chromatid. And along with that, the centromeres are being attached to the centrosomes, which are located, remember, on opposite poles. Pretend that's like, here's your centrosome, here's your centrosome. So what's happening is these, like, pretend this is yarn. This dude is like pulling the yarn back here, like a tug of war between these two. So that's how these two sister chromatids are coming apart, and the chromosome is not really a chromosome anymore. It's like sister chromatid. So that's anaphase. This is just like the pulling apart of things, running out of space. So on number 5, almost done here, you enter something called telophase. Okay, so telophase, I like to think of as a butt, literally. It looks like a butt. See? Cute little butt. Or I guess you can see it's like an apple. Anyway, so here's what's happening. You have all these singular sister chromatids now in like each part of your divided cell. And you also have, different color. You also have your centrosomes on each side of them, right? And then in this part again, you remember how our nucleus disintegrated, or just like it disappeared in prophase. It's going to start to reappear again in telophase once all the sister chromatids have been divided together, but it's not really formed. It's sort of starting to form. Now finally, the very last stage, cytokinesis. This is just really fun to pronounce, so you shouldn't be able to forget this. So cytokinesis, remember, these things are being divided like a butt or an apple, however you want to interpret it. So now you have two totally separate cells with the same DNA because they took copies of the sister chromatids from the chromosomes, remember. So here you go. Now this is where your membrane starts to form again, and you got DNA, then you got all your other organelles, and then you got DNA and all your other organelles. So this is mitosis. Remember, we start off with like couple DNA. They start to, they start to coil up into chromosomes. Then those centrosomes start moving to opposite poles, and these things started moving in the middle, the chromosomes. Then you got the centrosomes on opposite poles, and they're attaching to the centromeres of each chromosome. Then they start pulling it together like a tug of war, like this is my half, and it's an even split most of the time. Telophase, the butt phase or the apple phase, however you guys want to call it. So now the cell membrane or the nucleus is starting to form again around the sister chromatids in DNA, and you got cytokinesis where you got two different ones. This video is 8 minutes long. I will shut up now. I hope this helped. Bye.